Now, there are three conflicting views going on here. Number one, QCA's top responsibility is to put you on a bell curve to decide who gets into which university places. That's what it's there for. And what you're most likely after is to try and get the highest ATAR possible. So there's a conflict there in that ATAR is not going to give you all 99.95. It's going to try and put you on a bell curve and try and knock you down a little bit. And then the teacher's point of view is to try and educate you and make you as the best scientist you can possibly be. So I think I'm the winner in this one, because what I'm trying to do is make this such a good science report that it forces QCA's hand to give you all 20 out of 20s, even, which is probably what you want. It's not what QCA wants, but it's doing what I want, because you're becoming a really good scientist and making a really good report. So I'm declaring the winner out of these three conflicting things that are going on. You want 20 out of 20, QCA does not want to give you 20 out of 20, and I want you to write an excellent report. And so write an excellent report, and at least two of us win. I'm not sure about QCA though. Okay, so this is the latest here. Now, just like the videos are way better than what a teacher can do, the template and exemplar are way better than what teacher feedback can do. So I think the game's sort of been changed now. So sure, you might get some good written feedback. It's never going to be as good as cross-checking your report very thoroughly with everything in this template and everything in the exemplar. The teachers are not meant to give you that good of feedback, all right? And so what I've done here is I've tried to write an exemplary report, and by its very nature, it will supersede what's been asked for in the ISMG. So there's a few confusing bits in the ISMG. First of all, rationale and methodology are very similar words. They are trying to explain why you're doing what you're doing. And so I think most teachers will interpret considered rationale as background, and justified modifications. It seems like most of them are doing refined, directed, extended as if they were justified, but that's just the type of change, okay? So the justification is how it improves the experiment. So you're going to be looking at accuracy, precision, reliability, and validity. Now, because biology usually wins as far as numbers are concerned, they've committed to the words reliability and validity, which are very highly relevant to biology. Can you repeat the experiment with the method given to get the same results? And validity is the research, does the study and what you did actually answer the research question? That's like the classic causation correlation issues with biology. You could look up some silly things like the amount of ice cream eaten in Denmark and how that correlates perfectly with the crime rate in Chicago or something. So that is a huge issue in biology. Physics, chemistry is really about, because we do have our variables tightly controlled, and we do get literally the right answer within the uncertainty. We're all about how to improve accuracy and precision each time. So accuracy is the true answer, and precision is how far that fluctuates up and down. And so I think in most cases, they substitute validity for accuracy, and maybe reliability for precision, but I want you to use the exact word, the proper word in each case, all right? And the teacher will deal with that with the ISMG, okay? And so just keep everyone happy. As I said, the template and the exemplar is trying to force everyone's hand. It's trying to make every teacher say, yeah, okay, there's nothing wrong with this. Every QCA say nothing, there's faultless, okay? So I have put those words in there. Specific and relevant research question. You can read through all of this thoroughly yourself. I'm just going to give the main points. I want you to just not miss anything. So point, evidence, explain is the only way to clearly and concisely cover everything. So in almost every case, everything you say needs point, evidence, explain. And so you put all those words in there just to keep everyone happy. And then The evidence will be where you get your background information, chemical, scientific explanation, chemical equations, etc. And then don't just say, this improves accuracy and precision. If you do want to say two things, maybe you want to say, this tests the validity of the scientific theory. That seems to be the one students struggle with the most. The other changes, it's much easier for them to see that that's a reliability or precision or something or accuracy issue. If you're going to use two words, make sure you say just one word per sentence and clearly let the reader know why that is improved. I think teachers hate it when you throw a dice and just put two random words in there. It's just like, ouch, you're probably going to lose a mark. They'll get so annoyed with that. And so that should cover you here for considered and justified, following this out. Specific and relevant research question. If you look at the exemplar, that's probably a better way to go about that for that one. So I always make sure I have the numbers there. Always have 2 or 3 control variables, and this sort of runs off into RIs as well with the numbers. Give me the chemical names and formulas and ranges. Just try and hammer that out to be almost perfect. And then where we go, a methodology enables sufficient collection of relevant data. That should be a no-brainer because the original method that you're improving on has all that, which I put in the appendix. And then genre and referencing conventions, that's been an issue too, although QCA can be a little bit lenient on that. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the next thing they hammer, because they've been too lenient in the past. Just get yourself ready for university, just make it perfect. The best way to do it is to find whatever you've done, find it again on Google Scholar, and then use the cite versions. We're using APA, I don't know what your school's using, and then that will be the perfect reference, okay? Don't try and do it yourself on Word, because Word depends on you deciding which variables need to be put in there. Don't take that risk. Moving on then, so most of the characteristics are the same pre-2025, they just sort of rearranged them, so they're just in a different order. The main thing that is quite curious is this one seems to be a no-brainer here. Where is it? This one here. Collection of sufficient and relevant data is just, I've only done, in the exemplar, I've only done 3. Do 5 versus 5 because you're doing a statistic. It's not really enough, but 3 is not sufficient, and it'll help with your accuracy and precision. That's just a no-brainer. Use a data logger, or try and always use a data logger to get a quick collection of data within a short time period. That's a good method. And this is usually a no-brainer as well. If you've gone through it and corrected the language, it's not really a difficult thing to do. So it seems like they've just honed in on this, and this year especially, it seems to be an easy way for them to knock you back. So it seems like 5 marks is going to the risk assessment. So just really hammer that one out. In the exemplar, this is my latest update. What is it? Number 11. I just tried to force their hand, like, of anything that's of slight significance. So it's not just the concentration of the chemical. If you have very little of it, it can get washed down with water. But once you go over a certain amount, you can't. So put chemical names, formulas, concentrations, and volumes for everything. All right, don't forget all the products as well. Say exactly what's in the risk assessment and use risk assess, because other sources might not be as specific and clear. And don't forget the obvious as well. This is easily the area where students don't get 20 over the years. There's been students that forgot to say lab coats and glasses, students that forget to say glass can break, or electrical safety. They're the main ones. Actually, concentration used to be the main one, but as I said, QCA is trying to knock people back. So this one's a really easy one. This is the bare minimum here, and I've covered everything. So just go through that really carefully. Go through with a fine-tooth comb everything that's in the exemplar and everything that's in the template. Okay, because you're trying to get something that people don't want you to have, okay, which is a 2020. So moving on, part 3, analysing. Correct and relevant processing of data, thorough ID of trends, patterns, and relationships, thorough and appropriate. That's a lot of work. I've got videos on the website that help you deal with all of the there's so much processing and so many ways to describe and analyze graphs properly, and uncertainty propagation. That is technically quite difficult, but if you just put the hard work in, it's fine to do. They don't almost never lose a mark for that. Mainly because we do uncertainty propagation, which I think some schools are letting go of a little bit. I've purposely done the year 11 one, which is rather intense for this one because there's stoichiometry to determine limiting reagents, whether the reactants are enough. I know this is not 5, but should be. There's processing of data. It's just far more intense than probably what you're going to do in year 12. Got rate equations, and you've got, you can see in the appendix, the teacher needs to be able to double check everything. I think I've even removed anomalous results with percent difference. So I've really gone over the top for year 11 to thoroughly prepare you for year 12. In year 12, you should expect that your demand is a lot less, and hopefully that will make it a lot easier for you to get a higher mark. And every year I find horrors in the stock chemicals that you guys are unaware of, and as to why your stuff is not accurate. There's even just last week. All right. I think the copper sulfate. I don't know. Anyway, so moving on. Just refer to the videos there. The website's better because it's got them all listed out in order. And so lastly, justified conclusions linked to the research question, justified discussion, as I talked about before, accuracy, precision, reliability, and validity. And then just in order to suggested improvements in sensitivity that are logically derived from the analysis of the evidence. That's hard to do if you're not doing a table. If I can go back to the template, the way you force that as unequivocally done is to put them on the same line and cut down on repetition. So when you've got the limitation, refer back directly to what the value was. It was really high, all right? And say how that would have made it lower or higher, and that affects this. And then be really clear and explicit so people know how to do the experiment again to get rid of that. And because it's all linked together, you're cutting down the number of words, and you're also making it extremely explicit, and you're knocking out several criteria points at the same time. And tables also highlight gaps where you're missing something. All right, tables are the number one way in order to cover criteria points. All right, and then you should be good. Okay, and so that's the updated game that we're playing. Okay, big tug of war.